Hello and welcome to the explanation of the jury catalogue for Aufguss VM 2025. As you know, each year we change the catalogue according to the developments of last year, and this year we have some changes, so let's get through it. So let's start with the first category, professionalism. Professionalism right now is on 8 points. Why did this happen? First of all, 2 points from open and closing have been taken to the show category. So we talk about this later. At this moment, as you can see, 8 points. We have 4 points on organization, cleanness and hygiene, and 4 points on the performance. As you can see, in organization, cleanness and hygiene, 4 points, we're talking about everything what is going on. Do you know where everything is? Do you know where your buckets is? Do you know, are you searching for certain things? So we're really looking at how you're working with the hygiene. Is sweat spreading all over, or you nicely clean your body? So this is this category, 4 points, not a big change. Also in performance, we are looking to you as a professional Aufguss master, not in show as an actor, but as an Aufguss master. Do you have contact with your guests? How is your connection? How is your voice volume? How do you stand? How do you act as a master of Aufguss? But also, how is your fitness at the end? Do you see a nice graduation and at the end you still have the fitness, or at the end it went down? These are the things we're looking at this performance. Now, of course, there are some deductions. And last year, you have seen that we had something which is called preparation, which was on 1 point. This we have also taken out, and we, instead of giving you the points, we take it as a deduction. That means, first of all, if you didn't deliver your light script on plan and on time, that's -1. If you also didn't give your Aufguss information on time, this is also a -1. Why did we do this? You can probably imagine that for the people of the Terme or the host that is hosting the qualification or the finals, it's a lot of work to test the light script, to get information, to put this all. This is not only for you, but also for the jury. It's also for the people out there, for their marketing. They need information and they need it on time. It's for these people that we are doing this. So please make sure it's 1 point. It's a lot of points. That's 2 towel drops. Make sure your information is on time and make sure that your light script on time, and everybody will be happy. We have also given a deduction in the Aufguss time. As you know, if you go over time, you have a -point. What we agreed on, again, this year, we have a minimum of 12 minutes, but still a maximum, again, of 15 minutes. So you have 15 minutes to perform your Aufguss, but be also very careful. 1 second after 50 minutes will be deducted in 1 point. Again, why do we do that? The guests are already a long time in the sauna. Yeah? Also, for a jury member, jury members have to do so many different Aufgusses, and if you go over time, we don't, first of all, have the time to go out to cool down, but also do our jury. And for guests, sometimes guests can be very long inside the sauna. So a very big tip and a very good advice: try to make your performance 14 minutes and 15 seconds at the maximum, so that you can also take the applause at the end, so that you don't have to rush out, because at the end you will see in show opening and closing is on 2 points. If you don't have the time for your closing, then it's also -1 point. So it's better that you do a good closing, that you take the applause, that you take the people nicely outside. So be careful, make your Aufguss 14 minutes, maybe 50 seconds at maximum, so you still have the time to nicely greet the people and in a professional way go out. That is the time deduction. There's also a time deduction in the preparation. So if you, per 30 seconds, go out, you have a half a point down. Okay, second category. This is increase in distribution of the heat. This is on 12 points. Aufguss VM is about Aufguss, and Aufguss is about sauna, and sauna is about heat. That is why it is so important that we cannot miss the basics. That's why we also have still put it on 12 points. You saw that thermal comfort this year is out. We put the points on increase of the heat and distribution of the heat. So we took the comfort out actually, just because if you have a good increase and a good distribution, it should give you a good comfort. So it's just easier for a jury member to assess that. Simple increase of the heat, make it nicely in steps with a peak at the end. We would like to have a peak. We also don't like, for example, that it's too hot or it's too cold, so we assess it on that. The distribution of the heat, it's about the basic waving techniques. Yeah, so your classic waving techniques, bring the heat to the people. Don't forget the corners. This is also something that we're looking at. Don't forget the corners, and we're also judging on how we get the heat, how beautiful we get the heat. If we get the heat in, for example, a nice blanket, if we get it over our complete body, or maybe we only get the feet. So be careful that you're doing your classic techniques as much as possible. So that's this category. Category number 3, this is waving techniques, and this is on 15 points. We know how much time and effort there's been taken into learning new techniques, practicing your techniques. That's why it's an important category. It's 15 points, but we made some changes this year. So first of all, classic techniques is on 5 points instead of 4. We value the classic. We value the classic techniques because with classic, you bring the heat and you also bring the fragrances. So it is important that you perform your classic techniques, but also we're not only judging them if you perform them, but how you perform them. If they're sloppy or if they're beautifully executed, this is where the point range is laying. So the quality of the execution is important. Show techniques we have put on 6 points. So there's a little bit more on show techniques. Again, it is not important how many crazy techniques that you can do. The most important thing is how well you execute them, how beautiful they are, how beautiful they execute them, and then you have your music harmony and smooth transition. These categories kind of bind the classic and the show techniques together. So how you go from classic to show, but also how do you listen to the music? How is your waving according to the beat? How is also your waving according what you actually are expressing? So if you're expressing a sad moment, we want to feel that in the techniques that you bring. If you're having a moment of exhilaration, of happiness, we want to see this. You know, an Aufguss master's towel is the extent of his emotions. So think about every moment that you bring, every feeling or mood that you want, or atmosphere that you want to bring, show it also in your towel. So 6 points on show techniques. What is also important this year, it is not important to have to do a open towel, I have to do 2 hands, I have to do, no. What we value is that whatever fits inside your story, you show with your towel. Of course, we want to see a lot of different techniques, yes, but if 2 towels doesn't fit in your show, then don't use them. If a big open towel doesn't fit in your show, don't use it. We want to make you feel good in what you're showing, what you're performing, and it's based on the show, it's based on the story, and it's based on the emotion or the atmosphere that you're trying to bring, okay? What is important is there's some deductions, as you all know. Half a point when you drop a towel, but if you reuse that towel, you're not putting it away and you're taking a new one, that's an extra half a point on hygiene. I think nobody wants to be waved at with a towel which maybe 100 people walked over on the floor. So this is the hygiene part. If you drop a towel, put it away in a basket and take a new one. Category number 4, fragrance, usage and dosage. Here we made small changes. As you can see, perception went from 6 to 4. So we are looking at the perception of your fragrance, your aroma that you're bringing. And it is important that we feel the aroma. That means that it's not too much, it's not too less. It's not about personal taste, it's purely about, do we perceive the aroma that you're trying to bring inside your story? 4 points. The second one is use and water of ice and products. There we went to 3 points because again, we value the classic, we value the basics of an Aufguss, and we want to see an Aufguss master that knows how to handle the stove, that knows how to handle bringing the water on the stones, doing the loyally, giving the ice balls, how you work with your ice balls or how you work with your aroma. We believe that as a professional Aufguss master in an Aufguss, you professionally handle that. That's why it's on 3 points. The last category, creativity and quality, also we have put this on 3 points. We want you as an Aufguss master to think better and more about this aroma. How does this support my story? How can I creatively, it's not about I used a smoke or I used a infusion. It's not about that. It's about in your story, in the mood that you're trying to create, in the atmosphere that you're trying to create, how can my aroma uplift my story, uplift whatever I'm trying to bring? If it's, for example, you're running down a forest, of course you will gonna take pines and firs and so on. If you try to bring a happy one, a happy atmosphere, maybe use some happy citruses and so on. If you're, for example, I'm thinking you're in the Himalayas, you have cedar, you have all these other essential oils that you can use. But think about also maybe make a new mix to create something different, like a field of flowers, for example. So think about how the choice of my aromas, whether it's essential oils, whether it's a smoke, whether it's an infusion, how does this uplift my story and how creatively do I take them? So it's not about if I take a smoke, I will get more points. If I take an infusion, it's not about that. With one single essential oil, you can have a nice creativity if it fits the story. A deduction, if you use synthetic products, you can only get a maximum of 5 points if they are perfectly dosed. So I would advise you to take something natural. Category number 5, team and implementation. There has been the most changes. This is on 30 points because, well, we kind of started merging things into having this into one category. We made it a little bit easier for us as a jury, but also for you as a participant. Let's start with the first one, show and storyline. This is on 8 points, and this category really focuses on the quality of the show, the quality of the story that you're bringing. Is it understandable? Is it recognizable? Also internationally, anybody on this nation or anybody with a different language or a background, can they understand your story, what you're bringing? Also about the team, is it coherent? Is there a certain plot? How is the plot? How is the characters? How is the vision maintained through the show? So how is the story built up? So it's not about the story itself. It is about the quality of your story that you're bringing, how deep your story is, how developed the character is, how developed the plot is. This is the show and the storyline. 8 points. The second category is opening and closing. As I said, this came from the professionality. Why did we change this to the show? So in previous years, 5, 6, 7, 8 years ago, the Aufguss master had to introduce himself, had to introduce the safety rules in 2 different languages, and we took this out. So 2 years ago, we took this out and we said, the show needs to start. Just like in, let's say, a Cirque du Soleil, the clown also doesn't go and present himself and what his job is normally and what are the safety rules. No, the show starts. So right now, the opening and the closing is part of the show. And here we're looking at how did it start? Was there a clear ending? Also, did you stay as an Aufguss master? Did you take the applause or did you have to run out for some reason though? So how did you greet the people? How did everything start and how did everything end inside the show? This is opening and closing, 2 points. The third category is the atmosphere, and this is a very important category. This is on 5 points. Atmosphere, we're not looking at how many times people are clapping. No, this is not atmosphere. Atmosphere is looking at how captivating your story was. Did we, as a jury, did we maintain full captivity? Did we felt the story? Were we all the time in the story? Or was maybe the first moment exhilarating and then it kind of went down? Or was it in the beginning a little bit slow and at the end it started? So how nicely captivating it was for the people. Are people sitting and looking around, or are people totally focused on what you're doing? This is the atmosphere. So it's not about people clapping, it's not about how people are emotional, it's about how captivating your story is, on 5 points. The next one, creativity and innovation. This is on 3 points. As you all know, a story needs to be created, and we are looking on how creative the Aufguss master went on creating his story. So we are looking at, is it something that the Aufguss master developed himself, or is it maybe something that is maybe a copy, or maybe it's a movie, but a little part of a movie? How creative did he or she went with developing that story? So this is creativity and this is innovation. Number 5, and this is scenery and elements. This is on 4 points. Very simple. The show elements, are they recognizable and are they according to the theme? So we also look at everything that you brought in. Does it have a meaning? Does it have a use, or is just filling up the sauna? So we're looking also at the quality. Every prop that you are using, is this quality? The costumes that you're using, is this something quality or is it something cheap? So look at the quality, and here is less is more. What I'm trying to say is everything that you bring in, please make sure it has a use. Think about that. Think about the cost that you're doing. Think about all the work that you're doing. Every prop that you're bringing in, will I use it and will it uplift my story? This is the scenery and this is the elements. Then we go to sound, lights and visual effects. Also there, we gave a little bit more points. We put this on 4 points. Why did we do this? It's very simple. We want that a show has a very good sound. So that means that we are looking at the quality of the sound. If you're using voiceovers, the quality of the voiceovers. Are they professionally taped by professional people, or do we feel that maybe somebody unprofessional has made this? Maybe the quality of the sound could be bad, but also the mixing of the different things. Is it 3 songs after each other, or is there a nice blend? So this is the sound quality, but also we know that it's a hard work to create the light plan. So that's why we put extra points on that to award you if you provide a light plan. Again, we're not looking at the different use that you're doing. We are always looking at, does this sound or does this light, does it uplift the story? Does it have a value into the story that it brings out the show? This is sound, lights, and of course visual effects. Think about a smoke machine, for example. Be very careful with smoke machines. Use them in a very short time or don't use them at all. Sometimes it can happen that a smoke machine takes out the essential oils in the air, and if you have too much smoke, we cannot smell anything, and at the same time, it is not always pleasant as a jury member to sit and smoke all the time. So think about the atmosphere that you're bringing. All these elements can influence your smoke, so be careful to use it. Okay. Next one is the acting, and this is the last one. We put this up on 4 points because it's so important in a show that you have a good actor, and the actor needs to be believable from beginning till the end of the story. So we're looking at the Aufguss master's character. Is the Aufguss master, is he believable? Is he in his character all the time? And does the acting also support and uplift the team? So overreacting, over-exaggerations, be careful with that. If you're acting, look to yourself into the mirror and think, if I see somebody, do I believe that? Yeah. So think about when you're developing your character, when you're developing your show, think about your character, give that character a name, give that character, think about how does he or she would react, what's that person, what's their background, so create that full character and go inside that character and play that character from beginning to ending. So it's very important to think about these things. You are an actor, you're bringing a show, so think about how can my full acting uplift my show? So for the last category, this is of course only for the teams, and this is the team spirit. We have put this on 15 points, so extra points for the team spirit. Again, a couple of points have changed. First of all, harmony, we have put this on 3 points. This stayed the same. So we're looking at the harmony between the Aufguss masters, how well a difference is there in the quality, but also in the techniques, for example, the acting between one and the other. Are the Aufguss masters 2 or 3, are they on the same level, or is there a clear difference in professionality, acting, waving, and so on between 1 and 2? This is the equality, the equal right partners activity of all the Aufguss masters. That's harmony. That's number 1 on 3 points. Second one, synchronization. Synchronization is synchronization in part of the show. This is of course in the waving, but this can also be in, for example, doing Aufguss or doing certain movements. So this is synchronization, waving techniques, but also other activities. Number 3 is interaction. Interaction, we're talking here, there are 4 points, and we're talking here about how you hand over things. So for example, when you do waving techniques and you hand over a towel from one person to the other, or there's certain props that are handed over, how well, how smooth, and how beautiful this happens. Interaction on 4 points. But last but not least, a beautiful and last addition to this category, and that's something that we really wanted to implement, and that's choreography. Now the choreography is on 4 points, and this here we're talking about how well does the Aufguss master uses the space inside the Aufguss. Does the Aufguss master listening to the show, listening to the sound? Is the Aufguss master on certain places that he needs to be, he or she needs to be? And how does the movement, how does he moves or she moves, how does the towel moves, how does the prop moves according to the sound, to the light, and to actually the full choreography. So this is an amazing addition to our catalog. The last one, 4 points on choreography. So I hope this explanation gave you a lot of inspiration and insights on creating your Aufguss for 2025. I'm looking forward to experience it.